PowerPoint. Let's get it over with. Here are some tips so that when you present with PowerPoint, your audience doesn't want to bludgeon themselves with their own limbs. Whether we like it or not, PowerPoint is something that is around. It's not going anywhere, at least for a few years. The problem is it's common and it doesn't get used properly, and a lot of the time the information just gets dumped on a slide. So I just want to give you 3 quick tips to make your PowerPoint more effective and so that the audience will actually be entertained or at least not be overwhelmed or underwhelmed by your PowerPoint presentation, but that it's actually a useful aid versus just being something that detracts from you and your message. So the first tip is you need to lay out your slides in advance. So just like in a speech, you would write your opening and your body points and then your conclusion, and you would infuse some question and answer period in there if you want. You got to do something similar with the slides. You have to have an idea conceptually what you want your slides to look like and kind of what's the journey of the slides. And so if you're going to do more of a visual-based PowerPoint, what are the types of images you want to start to incorporate? But really, the best thing to do is go to slide view in your PowerPoint program and just lay it out, the key points. Sort of, okay, opening slide, here are 2 or 3 data points. Just write the key words to start with and then build your images around that. But you have to do the outline in slide view first, and then after that you can add to it. Because let's be honest, how do we do a lot of PowerPoint presentations? 1 slide at a time. We start with our opening, then we go to the next one and the next one and the next one, and before we know it, we got 45 slides and 10 minutes to present. So that's one tip, is just stretch it out. The second tip is obviously the less text the better. No text would be great. I always challenge people to have at least one non-text based slide in their presentation. Put up an image, and if you don't like the images, then consider blacking out the presentation while you're talking to get a key point across. But for those that actually absolutely have to have data, you absolutely have to have words on the screen, then I like the 5x5 rule. No more than 5 words per bullet point, no more than 5 bullet points per slide. Even that I can feel gets a little congested, but it's a start. I think the key is to keep your slides and the words on them as succinct as possible. If we're talking about putting data up on a slide, graphs and charts, then keep those simple. If there's a couple of statistics you want to highlight the statistics on their own in the presentation. Don't just put a bunch of statistics, or don't show a chart that's really rich in data, but the audience can't read it. So bring it out, highlight what you want, and come back to that. So that's what you need to do with the statistics, or just put one single number up on the slide. Either way, that can make for a really good The third tip is really just to edit. We're always going to have a lot more text and material than we often need in a PowerPoint presentation. So go through your slides. What's necessary? What's not necessary? Does it all have to be on one slide? Think about cutting it down and splitting it into 2, or like I said, really questioning whether that slide needs to be there. Is that information that needs to be read on a slide, or ask yourself, is that information that you could totally just say to the audience and they would get the same data? Also consider what are some facts and figures and notes maybe the audience can take home with them after that presentation that supplement what you say, but they don't need to be up on the screen at all times. Because there's nothing worse than overwhelming the audience with too much information, but there's nothing wrong with giving them access to more information after the presentation. Actually, it's a really good way to go. So those are your 3 tips. I think I probably threw more than 3 in there for PowerPoint so that we don't bludgeon ourselves to death with our limbs. But remember, outline the presentation in advance, use less words and images if possible, and edit your slides down to some point, cut it down, make it as succinct as possible. You do that, you're already going to be on the way to improving the quality of your PowerPoint presentations, and you can start looking at more advanced techniques. In a future video, I'll talk about how we can use visual slides in PowerPoint more, and I'll actually give you some examples, kind of some before and after ways of doing it. But until then, if you like my public speaking tips and you haven't subscribed, go to the link on the screen right now and you will be able to sign up for my weekly public speaking newsletter. You get 1 video tip like this one right here. You get an audio lesson with text and a bunch of public speaking resources every week into your inbox. Go to the site, Until next time.